My name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, I got a very special guest making his eighth appearance on The Ring and All Other Sports. My good friend, Brandon Belanger.
How you doing, brother?
Good, bud.
Good
Thanks.
to see you again.
Good to see you, too. Tried to get this a few weeks ago, but didn't work, but we're
We
here
had
now.
it. We went through like a couple struggles.
Oh,
we were
yeah,
supposed to do this back in October at one point, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
See, my work, man. I'm telling you.
It's all good.
It stinks. But we're going to get into the fan questions right away.
Let's get it.
All right. No, we're not. I want to talk to you about, you just got married, my friend.
I did. I'm a married man now.
Yeah. So how's it going, married life?
It has its ups and downs,
Yeah.
just like any other. It's definitely different. Everyone's just like, oh, it's just a piece of paper. No, it's a little bit different. But it's been going pretty good, though. I'm very happy with who I'm with, and I think I found the right one for sure. And we've been together for 4 years in May, and we've been married for 6 months.
Nice.
Going pretty well so far.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Honestly,
I
that
appreciate
is
it.
fantastic. All right. So let's get into some fan questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Ryan Brown. You know Ryan, right?
Yes.
First, I'd like to congratulate Brandon on his marriage.
Thank you.
My questions are, what New England pro wrestlers, past or present, would you have wanted to step in the ring with? Good question. It could be anyone, too. You know what I mean?
Realistically, this is how I look at it, and I know every wrestler was different, and rightfully so.
Right.
But for me, I feel like whoever you had the most chemistry with.
Right.
So for me, I never had a wrestling match in front of a live audience. Yes, I've been in 2 battle royals, but personally, in my eyes, those don't count.
Okay.
But the class matches, I definitely had some good chemistry. Ironically, with Becca. I did have a class
She's
match
really
with
talented
she's
too,
doing
huh?
very well. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah.
And Marty Chaos. He was actually my first class match. And,
He's very good, too.
And he's doing really well. And
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
very happy for him. And when it came to like chain wrestling and all that, Paris Vandal.
I was just going to bring her up if you did.
She's doing very well
Yes,
herself.
she is.
But like honestly, out of everybody, Marty Chaos. If I were to have just one match, one match only, it would be with him. 100%.
Nice. Very talented.
Very talented.
And Paris is very talented too. Becca is unbelievable right now.
I
For
think
being so young in the business.
And
she's fantastic.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's been on AEW Dark a couple times, and she's been on SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she has been.
And she was on the what was it, the Vegas episode of Raw, when she was like the extra, being the poker girl or whatever.
okay. I missed that.
The dealer, yeah. So I've been catching up a little bit. I've been seeing what people have been doing.
But yeah, awesome talents.
Yeah.
Also, if you could book a show, what WWE superstars would you have face off against each other, and in what type of matches? Now, maybe you could give me a better card than the WrestleMania card that's coming up. I'm serious.
I mean, here's the thing. No offense to anybody whoever asked that question. It's kind of a Mark question.
Yeah.
But I'll answer it.
Because we're Marks.
But I'll answer the question. So what match would I book?
A couple matches.
Couple matches.
Couple
Okay.
matches.
All right, couple matches. To be honest.
Try to use the guys on top too right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I love what they're doing with Sami Zayn, personally.
Yeah.
I've been catching up with that. I love what they're doing with Roman and the whole bloodline thing. And I definitely love what they're doing with Cody Rhodes now.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a match that everybody wanted to see, and that's a match that they're going to get. Personally, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns.
Okay, not a 3-way? You would throw Sami in there?
I would throw a 3-way, but I don't see it being like a WrestleMania-worthy match.
Okay.
Probably like a maybe SummerSlam or Survivor Series kind of match.
Okay.
But I could see that happening. 3-way with those guys, for sure.
And what about a couple more? Go on, how about the Usos? Who are they going to take on?
Oh, gosh. I mean, you know me, I'm a Hardy Boys fan. I would love to see those two go at it again. But realistically, if anybody was to go against them, I'm trying to think of the tag teams that are out there nowadays.
We got one with the local guy.
Yeah.
That would be different. That would be an interesting match. Viking Raiders and Usos.
But here's a match, and it's a singles match.
Yep.
Just because my New England self.
Okay.
Whether it's on Raw or SmackDown or NXT, Carmelo Hayes
Oh, yeah.
versus Dijak.
Wow.
Just to make us all happy.
Yeah.
And those guys, what they're doing right now, I'm very proud of them. And it's kind of crazy because I did see Dijak at my Market Basket about a few months ago. Yeah. So I was just like,
That's wild.
And I was trying not to sound like a fanboy when I saw him, but I was just like, he went in there twice. And I was like, hey, are you Dijak? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. I met him a couple times. Yeah. And I was just like, what are you doing here in Nashville? I guess he was like off, the programming for a little bit until they found something. And then ironically, like 3 weeks later, he came back on NXT television. I was like, this guy was in my store 3 weeks ago. Like, what the hell?
No, it really is awesome to see him back.
Yeah.
And I like the gimmick.
Yeah.
I really thought that T-bar and all that really was horrible.
Yeah.
Obviously, they realized it too.
Yeah. They could have done something more with that whole entire
Now,
faction.
did you know that Raw was just at the Garden?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what happened?
Carmelo Hayes was there.
And
he wrestled the main event against Kazuchika Tozawa.
Yes,
I can't pronounce his name. Tozawa. Yeah, and I saw that. Very happy for him. And I'm sure that was like a dream come true for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Wrestling at the Garden
He said
in
that on
Boston.
Instagram or Twitter, one or the other.
Yeah. No, I'm very proud of him for sure.
me
And
too,
he was one of the guys who trained me a little bit too. And definitely a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, his character, he's a badass.
Right.
But real life, sweetheart.
I'll tell you off here, like last time I saw him and stuff, it was really cool. He was awesome. All right, now Jared Dubling.
Oh, what's up,
Jared and Will, what's up, guys?
How you doing, guys?
Haven't seen you guys in a while. Sorry if he's answered this before, but you were traded to be a wrestler. Is that door completely closed, or is there a chance that you get back into it?
It's officially closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. It was a very hard
decision.
I mean, with everything that was happening before, like, while we found out in COVID, that kind of hit home for me right there. And also, I miss seeing my family. I knew I was going to be married, so I had to be, like, learning how to be a husband. And after I got injured, too, just getting that mild concussion, got banged on the head a couple times, I was like, I can't do this no more.
Yeah. Now, I watched your podcast about your New England independent wrestling.
Yeah.
And I know you chose not to say names.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
But I am going to ask, who was it that kind of gave you a concussion?
No comment.
Oh, dude, you're killing me here.
That's a thing. Like, I'm not like one of those guys to be like, screw that guy. It is.
I don't like the guy. That's why I wanted you to say his name. I don't like him because he's got no balls.
I mean, it's everyone's opinion, but it is what it is. But I'm happy with what I'm doing right now, man. I'm doing a podcast and keeping myself busy like I always do.
Right.
And I like what I'm doing. I mean, I spend like thousands of dollars on this podcast, on this project I've been doing, and actually like trying to do it the right way compared to the first time. The first time originally, I was just using a phone, did not know what the hell I was doing.
You did pretty good, though,
yeah,
dude.
I did.
You did.
But this time, I bought like a laptop and I got legit microphones and really wanted to make it look as professional as possible. And I really take my time with the editing. So, and I got to give my wife credit where credit's due, because she knows like how much time and effort it takes. And I do it like on Tuesdays to do the editing because I work half day.
Right.
And she's working till 5. So I try to get that done before she gets out of work, that whole editing. And it takes me about 3 or 4 hours depending what I have to edit out if something doesn't go right. But I love what I'm doing and I love keeping myself busy. So.
Well, I definitely don't want to sell yourself short because even when you were using your phone, they were really good, dude.
I appreciate
They really, really were.
Yeah. But it was just a learning curve,
Okay. All right, let's see. Megan Jessica.
That's my sister.
All right. Hi, sis.
What's up?
What was your favorite backyard wrestling move?
Oh, sweet Jesus. I saw that question. I was like, oh, you're throwing me under the bus. Okay. So long story short, I was 18 years old. God bless his soul, Tanner.
Yes.
So, yes. So Tanner and I met probably my junior year of high school, and then senior year happened, and he was talking about, oh, I'm doing this backyard wrestling show, and he knew Sonny Goodspeed and all that.
Right.
And he just saw how tall I was. He's like, dude, you're like King, you're like Undertaker. We need something like that. I was like, have you seen how skinny I was? And I was a toothpick at the time. But so I checked out a video, and I'm not gonna. At the time, I was like, this is the be all end all. Looking back at it now, it is kind of silly.
Yeah, it's all right, though.
But we literally put time and effort into the show we did. We call it the Belanger Bash. I said it was like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And we did like a fatal 4-way match. It was me, and at the time, my gimmick was BHB Brandon, hardcore Belanger. And it's hard to admit it because it makes me want to throw up, but My gimmick was hardcore because I used to watch all those hardcore wrestling matches at the time.
Right.
Tanner was called TJ the Spider Massacre. Spider because he likes spiders for some odd reason. And we had our buddy named Julio Caracini, who I was very impressed when I saw him because this guy was like 150 pounds. Not disrespecting him. He's a diabetic and he was born with messed up fingers, unfortunately. Yeah. And he picked up a 230-pound Tanner Hogue, picked him up for a powerbomb, and threw him into the freaking table. And I was just like, dude, what the hell? So he was involved. Yeah, he was involved. And there was a guy named Brett Patton. He was called the Freak. That's all he was called. And the funny thing is, it's like, again, we watched it. It was like, oh my God, this is like our WrestleMania. Looking back at it, it's silly as hell. And I might do an episode on it and show people the clips, and so you guys can get a good laugh out of it.
Well, just so you know, there's a tag team from Lowell that actually was named the Freaks too before they became their real last name.
Right. Yeah.
And
the Logans.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Nick and Brian, and Matt was like the one-man army or something.
Yeah.
Back in NEWA, George Carroll was running the shows.
Nice.
And I actually, one of the first places I ever sold my merchandise at. It's awesome. All right, now your sister has one more. Oh, no, well, love to hear about your backyard wrestling days again. Yeah. Any other story?
No, the last time I did the backyard wrestling thing, I do air quotes with it. So we did it the next year.
They all do it,
yeah,
so don't worry about it.
But the next year we did it. I did it with, I did have a match with Julio Caracini, who was known as the Psycho Beast because he loved Batista at the time. And the funny thing is, me and him, we actually like try to practice. We had like this crappy old mattress that we had in the backyard, and we actually practiced like twice a week for like 3 months to get ready for May when we were having the match. Look, I wish we had video footage of it because it actually was pretty decent for what I remember. Again, probably silly, but you would look at it and be like, wow, this is actually pretty decent for backyarders. And poor Tanner and Brett Patton, because they had a match, but they never practiced it, and they literally almost kill each other. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like we're watching a street fight here. But yeah, no, I loved what we did there, but I just wish we had video footage of it. But unfortunately, we don't.
Right. So. That's too bad, too. And Tanner was a great guy.
Very good.
Really good guy.
One of my best friends. You know, we had some ups and downs, of course, just like any other friends. When I found out the news during that time, I remember I was working a chaotic show, and we just finished the show. We come back, and found out the news there. I went home, called. Who did I end up calling? I think I called my friend Alyssa, and I was like, what happened? When she told me what happened, I was like, damn.
Yeah, so it was very, very sad.
It was.
All right, Dustin Healy. And I know I asked you this off here, so I'm just going to say it the way he wrote it. As a fellow MMPR fan, did JDF or in the series in general have a strong influence on your decision to become a wrestler?
All right, so MMPR is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah. Everyone knows I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. Got a tattoo right here. And JDF is Jason David Frank, who was the original Green Ranger, White Ranger, Red Ranger. We can go all day.
I didn't realize that he was 3 different Rangers. Okay.
Yeah, he was like 5 or 6, man.
All right.
But did it influence me to be a wrestler? No, 2 different things, man. What inspired me to become a wrestler at the time was watching professional wrestling. Okay. Because you got to think with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that was more like martial arts, karate based. Right. And wrestling is a completely different ballgame. So probably character wise, I always said to myself, if I was a wrestler, I would love to be like evil, like be an evil villain or a good guy, superhero or super villain kind of deal, but never happened. But I guess you can say sort of, but not really.
Okay. All right. Dan Bolia, good friend of ours. Hi, Dan.
Saw him yesterday.
Nice. Yes. I have that written down too. Being a show host like Leo, what is the best thing you have learned from him? Thanks, Dan.
So the first thing I did with the original podcast, and I will admit this, I would always ask the simple question like you always did, like, where'd you grow up?
Yep.
Now with this podcast, I kind of do it differently. I'm like, do you remember how we first met? That's how I start off every episode. Nice. But yeah, I've definitely learned a lot, and you definitely influenced me on wanting to do like my own talk show, because I honestly think you do very well with interviews. I'm not just saying that just to be a kiss ass. I was like, Leo's pretty good. And the other things I've been doing, while I've been doing this project. The last 2 years, I've actually been watching podcasts and watching your show too, and actually Dan's show too.
Yes.
Let Freedom Ring.
Yeah, awesome show.
And I watched Chris Van Vliet, Steve-O's podcast, Matt Hardy's, Kurt Angle's, Something to Wrestle With, and other podcasts. And I learn what they do, and I try to like get that in my head and try to like do what these guys do, but do it in my own way.
Right.
Like at the end of the show, like you say peace.
Yeah.
For me, I say let the dogs out at the end. And the reason I do that, long story short, Jim's father passed away 2 years ago.
Okay. Jim, one of your best friends.
Yeah, my best friend, who was actually the best man at my wedding.
Right, nice.
So I say let the dogs out because when we watched football, every time the Patriots play and their defense was doing terrible, his dad would be like, let the dogs out, let's go. And we always laugh. So it's like a tribute to him.
Right.
You know? So
that's awesome.
But yeah, but like I said, I love what I'm doing, man.
All right. Dan also has a follow-up. How do you see your interview style as being different?
I mean, again, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
When I first started doing the podcast, the first maybe 6-7 episodes in, I did not write questions. I did not write notes. I kind of was just shooting the,
Yep.
you know, and I was just going with the flow. And then I started realizing, okay, should write some notes down and let it be more professional and just let it go on. So for me, like I don't write like full questions anymore. I actually just write a note and I'll go over it with the guy or girl.
Points.
Yeah, bullet points.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, this is what we talk about. And if you don't feel comfortable with something, just go like this and I'll make sure to edit out on my podcast. And that's what people don't realize. I do all of it by myself.
Right.
You know, I do all the editing, I do the producing, the booking, and all that type of stuff. And I'm doing this on my spare time for free. And I feel like that's the best way of doing it because if you're doing it for the money,
right,
you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But like I said, it's a learning curve, and I'm still learning as I'm doing it. Watching, like I said, your show, Let Freedom Ring, all these other podcasts. So it's still a learning experience, but I'm having fun doing it.
That's excellent. All right. Also, he said, also great to see you today, Brandon.
It's great to see you yesterday too.
All right. So I threw out some questions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So, I'm a big TV guy.
Yes.
I love my television. Sunday nights are incredible. I got 3 shows I tape. What's your must-see TV programs?
So we're talking like TV shows we're talking about, right?
Yeah, like shows that are on, the streaming services.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, me and the wife lately have been watching a lot of Law and Order SVU.
Oh, yeah.
Like honestly.
I like that too.
And you know what stinks? We always say, like, we're going to do this today. Okay. We come home and I was like, SVU, let's watch it.
Yeah.
And I've also been watching Oz. Remember Oz on HBO?
Oh, yeah.
And she saw
I never want to go to prison.
No.
Never want to go to prison. Not a prison like that.
She started watching it and she didn't understand it. And then when she started watching more episodes, she's like, this show's messed up. And I'm like, yeah.
Very messed up.
And it's crazy because what's the guy, Elliot Stabler?
Yeah.
He was on that show before he went on SVU. A lot of guys were.
Chris Keller.
Yeah. So Oz and SVU, those are the two main shows.
That's one of my favorite shows of all time, man. It was so many guys have gone on to huge things.
Yeah.
They
had a lot of big actors in that show that I can remember too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's fantastic. Okay. So just SVU?
SVU right now, yeah.
Can you give me 5 bands that you love? Or single artists? That doesn't matter.
Yeah. I gotta say, Linkin Park's my number one.
Okay.
I got the pleasure to see them twice. They were amazing live.
Right.
Papa Roach.
Yeah.
Love Papa Roach.
I saw them. They blew Cedar away, dude.
I was supposed to see them.
Oh my God.
And I never seen them live. And I was supposed to see them, I think, this past summer. But unfortunately, I got COVID.
Dude, you gotta see it.
I know.
I'm serious.
I love a lot of their music.
Jacoby, right?
Yeah, Jacoby.
Oh, and he's a rock star, dude. He's a rock star. Listen, I went to see him, and when we bought the tickets, it said, Seether with Papa Roach. We get there, Seether opens the show.
Yeah.
And me and my buddy Joe like, why, right?
Yeah.
No lie. Papa Roach came on, and the energy in the room completely changed.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's a rock star.
Yeah, and I saw Seether live recently. They are good live, but they're just like, after they're done, they're just like, thank you. Okay, we got one more. Thank you.
Yeah, not a big talker. He talked a little bit.
Yeah.
But not like Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, exactly.
Eddie Vedder, man, he'll talk for 10 minutes in between songs. But what else? 3 more.
I gotta say, I know this probably sounds typical because I thought they put on a great show. Slipknot,
Yeah.
performance-wise,
Right.
amazing. Like very, very well done.
With a lot of moving pieces.
Yes. Definitely gotta say Korn,
Yeah.
old school Korn. I've always liked their music. My sister got me into them,
Nice,
ironically.
nice. My son loves Korn.
Yeah, and see, I'm more of like a late '90s, early 2000s kind of
that's
music
all
guy. Everybody hates this band, but I love the band. Limp Bizkit.
I knew you were gonna say
Limp
that.
Bizkit.
I knew.
When I wear a backwards hat, they're like, "Yo, Fred Durst." I'm like, "How do I look like him, guys?
No,
Come on
but
now."
they have a lot. They have a lot of good songs.
They do.
I'm not into them big time, but their songs that have been played on the radio are definitely worth being played on the radio.
And we'll always remember the great promo package between The Rock, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 17 with the what was it, My Way?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a badass promo.
Or the time that Fred Durst beat up Steve Carino.
Yeah, I
at a
remember that
concert.
too.
That's pretty cool. All right, how about favorite restaurant?
Ooh, so okay, it's a chain restaurant. Actually, I got two.
Good.
So La Carreta, because I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
I love making and cooking and eating.
Burritos and all that.
All of it.
Refried beans.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I love making, but I make empanadas. I
do
make
you?
chimichanga. Oh, I make it all,
nice.
dude. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And even though this is a chain restaurant, Texas Roadhouse, man.
Oh, dude, I eat there once a week.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do.
Every time we don't have food in the house, the wife's like, Texas Roadhouse, you want me to pick it up? All right, we got it.
I just got an 8-ounce Dallas filet. Oh man, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I always
Really
get their
was.
sirloins, man. Oh.
No, the sirloins are great too. I
Yeah.
just was in the mood for the filet that night.
Oh, yeah.
Because the filet is 8 ounces and it's more pricey than the 16-ounce sirloin.
Yeah.
So I do get the sirloin
yeah.
sometimes. But we call it in. It's not the same like when I get a sirloin than when you pick it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I feel you.
But yeah, we eat there all the time.
love
Maria
it.
loves the chicken critter salad.
Yeah, and also the chicken,
like
the
9.90?
regular chicken critters too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she loves those.
with the steak cheese fries and the bloomin' onions.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we can't forget about the rolls, man.
And the butter.
the butter,
The cinnamon butter.
cinnamon butter. Oh,
Nothing like it, huh?
we're going on a date soon too. Leo.
I'll tell you, sometimes we'll get a dozen rolls too.
yeah.
Along with the 4 that they give
yeah.
you for free.
Heck yeah! Especially when it comes to Thanksgiving, let's get those rolls.
Right? All right, how about movie franchises? 'Cause I'm sure there's got to be some of these franchises you're into. The Fast and the Furious, or
See, here's the thing: the first 3 movies of Fast and the Furious were the best ones
Right.
because it was about racing, and ironically, my brother got me into them.
oh no kidding.
God bless his soul.
Nice, Jason.
But yeah, the rest of them after that was kind of
Yeah,
But
okay.
movie franchises, that's tough because there's so many.
There
of
were
them.
so many of them.
I mean, I would probably go basic with like a horror movie, maybe.
Okay.
It would be a tie between Friday the 13th
Yeah.
or Saw, probably.
Sorry, sick.
And everyone like looks at me like because I do have the tattoo. Again, I'm a nerd, but I do have the tattoo on my leg, and I got it when I was 19. And everyone's like, "You gonna regret getting that when you have kids?" I was like,
Why?
"No, why?"
Exactly.
And there's
it's what you love.
Exactly.
That's why you put it on yourself.
And everyone's just like, "Do you just like it because it's a horror movie?" I'm like, "No, there's a story behind it. The guy is doing what he's doing, and I'm not saying what he's doing is right.
no,
It's
of
messed
course
up.
not. Yeah.
But the reason why he's doing what he's doing is because all these people made bad decisions in life, and he's trying to get through their head like, hey, what you're doing is wrong, but you have a choice to live or die just to see if you really want to go on with your life and try to make up for what you've done. So
And I like the story of that though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To me, it's like hey, Halloween's always got to be cool, right? Friday the 13th is always going to be cool, but the story in it, you know, and how like each, like you said, everybody is either a bad person in some way, or they made a bad decision.
I got a funny story for you real quick. All right. So first off, the Spiral movie, didn't like that one, but another subject. But anyways, so when me and my wife, when we were just dating, she said she will never watch it. Okay. And it kind of like broke my heart a little bit as like a joke. But she said the only time I will watch it is if you ask me to marry me. And I was like, okay. So when the time was actually right to like actually ask her to marry me, I was like, well, you know, I married, like, you know, did all that. And then we went home and I was just like, now you know what you got to do now. And she actually sat down and watched all of them. She still, to this day, is like I don't get it. Why do you like these movies?
Right.
This guy is so messed up. And
Messed up.
And we have verbal debates because I'm like, what he's doing is because he's trying to save other people's lives, but he's a killer. I'm like, no, they're doing it to themselves. But,
Oh yeah, but he puts them in that
yeah,
spot,
exactly.
though,
But
you know?
she does not like the movies, and I'm like, that's fine, I get that. But it's just so funny when we go back and forth about that movie. It's hilarious.
I thought you were going to get dirty for a minute there when you said it. I said when we get
No,
back to that.
no.
I know.
Listen, this is a PG-13 show. This isn't rated R, okay? Let's get it through.
All right. Can you name some of the top talent in New England right now?
Oh, man.
And a lot come from your school you went to, the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. There's no doubt. Quite a few come from there.
Like I said, I haven't followed the wrestling. Like, I don't watch Raw every week. I don't watch SmackDown. But I keep up with it because, again, I'm a big part of like the whole wrestling community just because like I see posts every day on Facebook. But for what I've been seeing, a lot of the guys from New England Pro Wrestling Academy are doing well. And I got to mention these names like Ricky Smokes.
Yep.
Mortar, first off, let me just say this.
No, Mortar is unreal.
Mortar deserves to be where he's at right now.
And he's so bulky now.
Yes.
Bulky.
And also, he is the type of guy who literally has been busting his ass to get where he's at with all those ring crews, with all the BS he has been through, and to get where he's at, even though he is the New England champion and people look at it as like a prop, he is literally, and I'm not just saying it just to kiss ass, I'm being honest, he is the heart and soul of New England. And I'm very, very proud of that guy. So if he's listening to this, which he might not, but I'm telling you, he's great. But yeah, Ricky Smokes, Mortar, like I said, Monty Chaos, Paris Van Dale, Becca. These are people that I, train with on and off.
Right.
And to see where they came from at the beginning to where they're at now, very proud of them. Yeah. Proud of them all. And there's no jealousy, there's no hatred. It's like I'm legitimately proud of these guys. And one more, Sean Keegan Vegan. I literally messaged him privately recently, actually like a couple days ago, because I saw he's having a match at Cold Fury.
Right.
Same thing with Mortar. He's been training like for 4 to 5 years, and he's finally getting like his break.
Yeah.
And now that he's actually wrestling at all these different shows and actually being part of Cold Fury, which is like WrestleMania for these guys, for me it's like
big show.
Yeah, and I said, congratulations, man. I'm very happy for you, and you've been busting your ass, and keep doing what you're doing. And when it comes to that show, have fun and just have a good match.
Is Cold Fury in April?
I believe so, yes.
But yeah, I seen him work a couple times for Atlantic Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And he's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, he really has.
He really has. You're
very proud of that guy.
Excellent. How about the top women in indie wrestling right now?
Oh, God. I mean, if we're talking... I
can help with that, though, too, Mike. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, like I said, when it comes to indie wrestling, the only people I've been following is like the girls from New England.
Yeah.
Like I said, Becca.
Yep.
She's doing so well for herself, and I'm so proud of that girl.
Right.
Paris Van Dale, same thing. When I started training, I was in the beginner's ring, and I believe she was in the beginner's ring with me for like a couple months, and then eventually got onto the advanced ring. Girl has come a long way. Honestly, those are the two. Those are the two girls.
I got a couple there. Nakoma Tala, with the Indian type of gimmick.
Yeah.
There was, Mistress Belmont, who was, I think, helping out with WFA now.
Yeah.
But Paris Van Dale is incredible. There's a lot of girls. I love Luscious Latasha. First day with the new tongue guys.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of good talent. And there's a lot of young talent. Shannon Levangie.
She's doing very well,
Sarah
too.
Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Those girls are really doing very well.
Yes.
All right, listen. We got almost 28 minutes.
Yes.
Let's just talk wrestling.
Let's talk. Let's do it.
When you first became a fan was in, the 2000s?
So early 2000s. I became a fan in 2009. I probably told this story on the show before. Check it out in the archives.
Yeah.
The first time I watched wrestling, I was about 9, 10 years old, and my cousin was into it. And
Was he older or same age?
Same age.
Okay.
Same age. And so we used to play the video games, never really understood it. All I heard was like Stone Cold, The Rock, or Triple H.
Right.
You know, the major guys.
Yeah.
So one day I went to like a Blockbuster or Video Thunder in Nashua.
Wow.
Video Thunder.
That's
We're going
a
back.
long time
Those are the
ago,
two main
man.
stores I would go to. And
Like 15 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah, and they're still in business. They're just they're a pawn shop now. That's what they are.
kidding.
Yeah, and they're still in that same strip over there. Yeah, but so I went into one of those stores, and I saw WrestleMania 18, and it said Icon versus Icon, The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And I've heard of Hulk Hogan here or there.
Right.
And I looked at it, and I looked at this poster. I was like, man, that looks pretty cool. And my cousin's into wrestling. I want to see what it's all about. So I watched it from start to finish, and I was like, wow, these guys are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And like I said, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, amazing match. Those are the type of guys, they don't need to do like 1,000 moves.
Exactly.
And the thing is, as long as they get the crowd going,
Yep.
that's all that matters. And you know what's so funny? I learned this as I'm listening to stories, and also from what I've learned in, you know, my time at NEPLA.
Yeah.
The way I look at professional wrestling now is, yes, you can have like 1,000 cool moves.
Right.
You really could. That's great. But where's your connection with the audience?
Right there.
So the last wrestling show, and I did say this is the last wrestling show I'm ever gonna go to, just because I've been to so many of them. I got nothing else to prove as a fan or even like a trained professional wrestling student. So I went to AEW, wanted to see what it was all about. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of their product.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. I couldn't tell you who wrestled on the main card of Dynamite. These two guys, they were doing like all these cruiserweight moves. Nothing against the cruiserweights. I love the cruiserweights back then, but now it's a little bit different. They were doing like all these crazy moves, which was cool. And there's a couple oohs or whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the match, it was silent because they weren't connecting with the audience.
Right.
The one match that I liked, and it was only a 4-minute match, was when Hook came out
Yep.
and won the FTW championship. I even stood up, was like, that was awesome. And he got a standing ovation because he connected with the audience within those 4 minutes.
Exactly.
And he didn't have to do all those crazy moves.
That's right. You don't have to.
And
You don't.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a solid worker for what I saw. And honestly, I even told my buddy Jim, that was the best match of the night.
Well, he's, from what I hear, he's from Creative Pro too, even though his dad's Taz.
Yeah.
And Creative Pro has put out Chris Stat,
Yeah.
Max Caster, Anthony Bowens. There's more. I don't know. But there's way more. And why Cody left AEW, from what I've heard and read, is that he wanted AEW to be more like wrestling based, like the Crockett's in North Carolina.
Old school
And
wrestling.
Old school NWA.
Yeah.
While the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega wanted PWG,
Yeah.
you know, which is high spot heaven,
Yeah.
you know.
Spot monkeys, as they call it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they have some talented guys.
They
though.
do.
They really do. And I'm not going to say John Moxley because the guy bleeds every match.
Yeah.
He's nothing special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, he isn't. I liked him better when he was in the Shield.
Yeah.
You know, where they were more wrestling.
Yeah.
None of this, like, I don't know if you saw, but on one of the Dynamites, he goes in the corner and he sits in, he's like this, cutting himself.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, everybody does know that you blade.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
I mean, look at the ratings. You know, I'm not one of those guys to like be like, you know, hating on wrestlers or anything, because it's not their fault.
Well, neither am I.
They're being told what to do,
Right.
you know? But like people show it all the time. Look at the ratings. AEW is really not doing that well. They're getting a decent amount of followers, yes, but they're not that good. And here's another reason why, okay, I really got offensive. I got to let this all out.
Good. Let's hear it.
The reason why I'm not a fan of AEW.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, when I was there, you got to think they have AEW Dark.
Yeah.
They got AEW Dynamite
And then Rampage.
and Rampage.
Yeah.
They do all three of those shows.
Yeah. It's exhausting, dude.
And I'm like,
I've been to two of them,
Yes.
so it's exhausting.
So AEW Dark, that's a good chance because it's kind of like a Velocity / Sunday Night Heat.
Right.
It's a good way for like development talent from like the indies to get a like shot. And I used to watch Velocity even as a kid.
Right.
And Sunday Night Heat. You see like these, as they call it, the nobodies or jobbers, as they say it.
And most of the time, though, they were talented, independent
Yeah,
guys
exactly.
on Velocity
Yes.
on Heat.
So when they have a match, of course, they're not going to go over, but they get to show off what they have a little bit.
Right.
And then, yes, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Get it. AEW Dynamite, they had, or AEW Dark, I should say, they put on 7 matches for 1 hour show. That is way too much.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really made me mad, that made me like just go like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So they had some local guys, of course, and girls.
Right.
From New England. They had, what's her name? LMK?
Who?
LMK?
Oh, Little Mean Kathleen. Yeah.
So she was
She's
part of
another. See, I'm sorry about that I forgot. But LMK is incredible.
and people knew who she was, and they were trying to like chant her name, and she's like,
Teddy
yeah, let's
Goods
go.
was probably on the card too, right?
Yep, and we saw her Waves and Curls.
Yep. Oh, man.
Georgia Heel, better known as Robo.
Yep.
But he didn't have a match, which I was a little bit upset, but.
Right.
So.
Congrats to buying your restaurant too, my friend.
Yes. So the way I look at it, I saw Wave and Curls, and I know them personally, and I'm very happy for those guys because they've been busting their ass too.
Yeah, they have.
So when I saw them, I was like, yeah, Wave and Curls, I'm happy for you guys, screaming.
B.I.G. there too?
Yep. So here's the way, and I'm going to use your notebook for
go
example.
ahead.
If hopefully people
Yeah,
can
keep
see
it low though. Keep it low.
Keep it low.
Yeah.
So this is the entranceway.
Right.
The wrestlers that are just regular extra talent, they're on the side waiting for an entrance, but they're not doing a real entrance. There's no music, background, nothing. They just walk on the side. The people that are with AEW or potentially have a contract,
get the music.
yeah, they actually like enter.
Yeah.
Velocity, Sunday Night Heat, you probably don't see it on TV, but they give them they actually give them an entrance.
I can tell you right now, my favorite Sunday night Heat was when the Backseat Dudleys came out. I remember, but the Backseat Boys came out and they got stopped by Albert and who was it?
Was it Test?
Yeah.
TNA.
TNA.
That's what they were called.
But they were so funny, man. They were the Backseat Dudleys. It was hilarious.
But yeah, it was just like they just squashed them like they were nothing. They didn't even like do any offense. I get it if you're just trying to make someone that's huge, like Braun Strowman, for example, and really make him like look destructive.
Right.
But
haven't beat
these
up
are
three
like
guys.
these are multi-man tag team matches. There's like 8-man, 10-man, and I'm like, you didn't even like give them a shot to do anything.
Wasting talent.
Yes.
Especially like a Waves and Curls in a tag team.
Exactly.
Match. Those guys connect with fans.
And they do.
They do.
And the other thing too is like I'm gonna say this.
Good.
Wins and losses, they don't matter to me.
No, they don't.
And
they don't.
You're out there getting an opportunity to go in front of a live audience, but you didn't even give them an opportunity. You just let them get squashed after 2 minutes and was like, okay, let's end it.
Right. And not everyone is like this guy that I'm going to mention, but he always says it. Doesn't matter whether he wins or loses because no one remembers it. All they remember is his entrance, the Sandman.
And that's why I like also just like listen to these stories on the podcast and actually understanding what they're saying after learning the business a little bit. Politics that are into professional wrestling, like what the hell, man?
Yep.
That's all I gotta say. And like people like getting mad, like why is he winning the title? Why is he getting a big push? Who cares?
Right.
They're like, give anybody a shot, and if they got it, great. If they don't, put them in the back burner for a little bit. And some of those guys, they get fired, but you know what they do? If they're lazy and they're not doing anything with wrestling, then screw those guys.
Right.
But look at Matt Cadona, for example.
Oh, yeah. He's killing it right now.
He is doing it right now.
If he comes back, he has to come back as a star.
Yeah.
Right? Like Cody.
Yeah.
He has to.
And look at it. He was Zack Ryder. He was in the company for a long time, about 15 years.
And they blew it with him so many times.
They were up, down, down. And he was actually like, hey, I was there for 15 years and I'm actually shocked and I'm pretty happy.
And he looked good.
Yeah.
Could work and talk.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But now they'll have to pay him. If he comes back, they're going to have to pay him because there's no way he don't come back as a star.
Right.
He can't come back as Zack Ryder.
And he's the guy that I actually look at and I'm like, this guy is like the definition of hard work right now. Because he's not just doing wrestling and wrestling for like bigger shows and trying to make a big A for himself, which he is.
Right.
But think about it. When COVID happened and he lost his job, he started a podcast
Yep.
with Brian Myers, better known as Kurt Hawkins.
Right.
And
What is it called?
I forgot the name of it, unfortunately.
It's got to have something to do with figures.
Yeah, it
I know
has
that.
something to do with action figures,
Right.
and they're making a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of what he's doing, and maybe one day he will come back. But you got to think of Drew McIntyre. He was one of those guys who got fired, kept working hard, and look what happened. He became a 2-time WWE champion. Cody Rhodes, he left, and look at him now. He's a big star in WWE, main eventing WrestleMania this year. Sometimes you got to leave and try to like reinvent yourself, as they say it. And then when you get it to WWE, then
Well, and now you said Brian Myers too, right?
Yeah.
And like, they were released together and all that.
yeah,
And I see Matt Cardona now as a star. He's worked
Yeah.
really hard. And Brian, he was working for Impact for a while and
Yeah.
stuff. But if they brought them both back, I see Brian Myers going in the same spot he was in.
yeah.
While Matt Cardona, there's no way
Yeah.
he comes back any other way
Yeah.
than being a top guy.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
looks like $1 million. He
does.
He always has.
He actually looks more jacked now than ever. Very happy for the guy.
And then what WrestleMania? Did he win the ladder match or something
Yeah,
like that?
and he told a story about that on Chris Van Vliet's podcast or Matt Hardy's podcast, Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, and he mentioned at a certain point when he was making his entrance, and you watch it closely, he even said it to the camera. He's like, "I've waited like this amount of time to hear my entrance theme song at a WrestleMania," because he's been involved in WrestleMania, but you don't hear his theme song.
Right.
And he just like found out right then and there that he was going to win the match, and that was his WrestleMania moment. And yes, he lost the next day, but hey, he had a WrestleMania moment though.
Well, he might have had another great WrestleMania moment. Didn't they come down and be as the Edgeheads at Was that at WrestleMania?
That was WrestleMania 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was WrestleMania.
Yeah, but they went out with Edge as like security or
Yeah,
whatever.
but the Edgeheads, they looked like them. I mean,
And
they had the
they-
long hair and the same gear.
And they started off as the Major Brothers at
Yeah.
the time, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they literally went up to Edge, and I heard this behind the scenes. They were like, "We need help. We really want to like get something
I
out of
don't
this."
think they were in indies very long at all.
Yeah, they were they were
serious.
very young. I think they were
Very
like
young.
21, maybe
About
20.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so they were probably training for like a few years, but again, don't know that for a
Right,
fact, but yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Though. But I'm glad you see it the same way, because there's no way he comes back any other way than being a star.
Yeah.
I mean, he was headlining GCW shows. Everywhere he goes, he was NWA Power.
Yeah.
He was on Impact for a little
Yeah.
bit.
He was on AEW for a little bit too, but he was just like, I didn't sign a contract or
Right,
anything.
right.
And that's
Probably smart.
Yeah, and that's another thing with AEW I got to mention. They have too many wrestlers.
Yeah.
But it's like, who's really signed with AEW is my question. Because you got to think of some of the guys. Like we mentioned Georgia Hill. He is on AEW Dark, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, and no offense to Jorah, he's a great guy. And I consider him a great friend.
Yeah.
Does he have a contract with AEW? We don't know.
I don't know if he does or not. I really don't.
And same thing with...
But he looks like $1 million
He does.
too.
He does. And same thing with Bear Country.
Yeah.
And I know they've reinvented themselves a
Yeah,
little bit.
I don't even know it. Do you know what their name
No,
is? I
I
don't
don't.
either.
Yeah.
And I like the Bear Country name though.
Yeah.
And Beefcake Charlie.
Yeah.
That's the first name I saw. The big guy. Tommy, I think, is his real name.
Yeah.
I don't really know him or anything.
Yeah.
But Beefcake Charlie, what's he like, 6'6"?
Yeah.
At one point, he was like 380 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, just a monster.
Yeah.
And then Bear Bronson,
Yeah.
technical worker.
Yeah.
The power,
Yeah.
the worker.
Yeah.
What every tag team needs.
Yeah.
You can't be the same like the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I don't like them.
And the other thing with Bear Bronson, I'll be honest, he is a great singles competitor for what I've witnessed for all the ring crews I've done.
Right.
When they did 01 USA, I think it was Anthony Green's
Yes.
programming.
Yep.
And they were trying to push him to be like the main star
Right.
for a little while for that programming.
Absolutely. they
And
were.
I saw some of the matches he had with certain wrestlers, and I was like, man, this guy's actually really good as a singles competitor. And we all know tag team wrestling and singles wrestling is two different things. And
Right.
there's different, psychology and terminology and all that type of stuff. But
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, AG, because when he was running shows, I decided to sell my merchandise, and I asked him if I could do it at his shows, because I knew how hard he was going to work.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, every show had at least 150 people there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but for an independent company that's just starting up,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yes. And,
It's incredible.
And I definitely like how he had like the Japanese feel, Japanese wrestling too,
Yeah.
with the turnbuckle padding that he
Yeah.
had. Just like one strip, red, white, blue, white. I love that.
And speaking of Japan, that's where he is right now.
I know. And he actually wrestled at the Tokyo Dome that I found out.
It's
And I was like,
incredible,
wow,
man.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I can't sit there and say I'm happy for him because, I'm not friends with him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But very happy for him. He deserves it.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see Flip
Yeah.
not in AEW.
Yeah.
I really was.
And the whole thing with Ring of Honor, because I believe AEW bought the company,
Yeah, they did.
right?
They did for $40 million.
Yeah.
You overpaid huge for that.
Yeah.
You overpaid double it. Probably weren't even worth $10 million.
And that's another thing too is AEW has all these championship belts, and I
Yeah.
can't even keep up with
No, I
it.
hear ya.
But WWE does too. But they
Right.
kind of like slowed it down. They got rid of the cruiserweight. They got rid of that 24/7 championship.
right.
But
I'm sorry, but I like the 24th. I did. I like the silliness of it.
I did too.
That's
but
what I liked about
like
it.
the original hardcore title.
Well, yeah, that was cool too.
That
really
was the
cool.
same concept.
Yeah,
but it was
absolutely.
like, but there was gimmicks, there was weapons
Right.
and stuff like that. But yeah, and R-Truth, I mean, he was the guy who, come on, he was the real 24/7 champion every single time.
No
come
doubt.
on
When
now.
you think of 24/7, you think true.
I mean, come on, New England's finest, Gronk.
Yo, Gronk.
He won the title. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, no. So I'm glad you brought up R-Truth because he's one of the most entertaining guys on
is.
their roster.
I watch a lot of his stuff on
And
YouTube.
whenever he comes out, the pop he gets
Oh yeah.
is incredible.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
You know?
He's definitely in WWE. I think he just loves being where he's at.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what you got to have. You got to have fun of what you're doing. If you're just trying, if you're trying to be big, and I get that, but you got to have fun while you're doing it. And
I hear he likes to help the young kids too.
he does.
He likes to really help
And
them.
he's doing the right thing because, when you're a veteran and you've been there for a long time, it's all about pushing the young cats, as they say.
Absolutely.
So. Very happy with where R-Truth is, and he won the NWA World Title, so he can actually say he was a world champion at one point.
Yeah.
Different company, yes, but hey, he was a world champion
That's right, he was.
back in TNA when they first started. So, yeah, I kind of look at myself as a wrestling historian a little bit.
There
but
you go.
just a little bit.
Do you did you go to any Beyond shows?
Ironically, no. I never even been to a Limitless wrestling show, but I know they're pretty big independent wrestling.
Both those companies are great. Randy Carver's unbelievable. One of the youngest promoters out there.
Yeah.
He's killing it. He's
Yes.
got a great product.
Yes.
And Beyond, I was only asking because I seen a lot of guys that are on TV now from there.
Yeah.
Just like when I used to cater for Ring of Honor, I seen how those guys make it. The Samoa Joes, the AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and so on.
Yeah.
But I think that Gunther
Yes.
is a big part of the future of the WWE.
And he lost a lot of weight.
He looks like $1 million.
He
And
does.
he's not like with the six pack yet.
Yeah, but he's definitely lean up a lot
Yes.
for
And
what I've
his
seen.
chops.
Yeah. He's definitely up there with William Regal when it comes to intensity.
And I like the guys he's with too, the Imperium guys.
Yeah.
They're a good tag team.
I gotta say, I watched this clip. Anything with DX, I gotta watch because
Yeah.
everything they do is hilarious. When they did that skit for Raw 30,
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off, and Triple H is like, "I retired, dude."
Yeah, nobody wanted to fight him.
And Shawn Michaels is like, "I'm old, I got a hip problem," and then all of a sudden, Kurt Angle will kick your ass, and he's like, "No, I won't. No, I won't."
No, I won't, yeah.
I was like, "This is good stuff."
That was
Entertaining.
funny.
And that's the problem. And that's the thing. That's the problem. You don't see much entertainment anymore,
Yep.
and that's the problem.
And Kurt Angle brought great to that thing. It's like he thought he was part of DX.
Yeah.
And everything. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Kurt Angle is, dude. Okay, everyone says Mick Foley is a great storyteller. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, he really is.
Right.
But if you watch the Kurt Angle show, which is his podcast, his stories are amazing.
Well, I'll have to check it out because I really listen to Cornette and Conan.
Yeah.
That's basically the podcast. And I'm sorry, Wolfie D.
Yeah.
Live and in color with Wolfie D. Part of PG-13.
Yeah.
His podcast is awesome.
Yeah.
But he's one of my favorites. Even back in the day when he was in the Nation of Domination.
Great tag team faction.
But he was on the second Tommy Dreamer show that I catered.
Yeah.
And we were coming around, and the only thing I asked Tommy for the food was access for Jaizea for pictures and autographs if he wanted them. So we came up and Wolfie D signs it, and he goes, $5. And I go, hey, sorry, but the food. And I explained to him, but I felt so bad, you know?
Yeah.
But the guy's incredible.
Yeah.
He's another great storyteller.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Live and in color with Wolfie D.
Yeah. Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Flipping the script. What do you think of the Dark Side of the Ring?
Love it. I do. I love it.
Yeah.
The Ric Flair thing, I mean, it went a little overboard, I think. I really do.
Yeah. I got to say, that's another reason why I kind of left too, especially with the Chris Benoit situation.
Yeah.
Because,
Me too.
The reason being, like, yeah, we already knew the story. We already knew everything that happened. When I got my mild concussion, and yes, it was a mild concussion.
Yeah.
And also
But a concussion
But
still.
a concussion, yes. And even when I got my bell rung again, when I went back, and I went back too soon.
Just curious, Jeff. Same guy?
Same guy. Okay. Oh, no, different guy. Different guy.
All right.
That one was an accident.
Okay. The second one was
The second one, yes. The other one, I'm not quite sure about.
Right.
We'll keep it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I watched that Chris Benoit documentary, I really took it to heart, you know what I mean? And I just don't want, it's not I'm afraid of getting hurt. I just don't want to go through that kind of issue.
Right.
And you got to think Dynamite Kid with his situation of how much he put his body through.
Deteriorated big time.
Yeah. And you hear all these other, and you, again, Kurt Angle's another example. But you listen to his stories, not just his neck, like he just got knee replacements.
Right.
He's getting a back surgery soon for what I've heard. And he still needs to get a neck fusion. And he has never done that. He does like the quick neck surgery and gets back right in.
Right.
The guy has, okay, so long story short, Kurt Angle has been through 4 or 5 broken necks while he was in WWE.
Jesus. And he had a broken neck when he won that Olympic
With
gold medal. With a broken freaking neck.
Yeah, exactly. And he has a shirt that's kind of like Seth freaking Rollins, but it says broken freaking neck on it.
That's awesome.
Pro wrestling tees, but
entertainment right there, though.
But once I started hearing all these, it was like, yes, I'm still young. I'm only 30.
Yeah.
But I was like,
old kid.
I was just like, yeah, right. But honestly, I now really like learning how it really goes. The best time to really start wrestling, and I tell this to everybody, you want to be 18 or young as possible when you start it. Right. Because me, yes, I started at like 26, 27 when I was training.
You bounce back from injury a lot quicker when you're young.
Yeah. But
you really do.
If you really want to do it, you got to be at that age to start off. But you got to give it to credit where credit's due, like AJ Styles still doing it after all these years. Yeah. And who else is doing it? Like the fact
Samoa Joe still doing it.
Samoa Joe, and the fact that Undertaker did it for like 33 years. Even Ric Flair did it for 30 plus years.
Oh yeah, yeah. Flair did it for 40 pretty much. Really,
it's amazing to me because people just think like, oh yeah, there's a trampoline underneath that ring. You can kiss my ass. Yeah. I'm very like when people tell me it's fake. I'm like,
of course.
Just leave me alone right now.
I don't like that either.
Yeah,
and I'm not in.
And that's why I said the F-bomb so many times because like I get so heated about it. But it's just crazy. It's like no, it's made out of steel. Okay.
Well, it was so much not like you.
Yeah.
That's why I said that to you. That there was a lot like what. Real quick, guys. He told me to watch his episode on New England Independent Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I did. And Brandon doesn't swear a lot. He swears, but not a lot, like I do.
If you met me, here's the deal.
You said a lot of F-bombs.
Well, here's the thing.
Show.
With the F-bombs, I'll be honest. You probably met my parents. I can't remember if you have.
I have.
They're great. They're great people.
Awesome.
But I grew up with a house of sailor mouths.
Right.
I guarantee the first word I learned was the F word, and I kind of like kept it a secret because I like people to like think of me as like a nice guy, but literally I have a sailor mouth.
All right.
I really do. So, but when it comes to stuff like that, yeah, you'll hear me.
Well, most of the time I seen you is either in the store.
Yeah.
We've been to your house for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, or here, so you're not
Yeah.
that
But when it comes, like when I get like a little bit like upset or heated about something, the F-bombs will go out like crazy. So, but yeah, no, that's just when I feel passionate about it. Like when people say it's fake, and I even did an episode with my buddy Patrick Jones. We mentioned a little bit.
Yeah.
gets me heated when people say it's fake. It's like,
Right.
it's not fake.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's choreographed.
It's choreographed. You can say that.
Yeah.
Those ropes you run hurt.
Oh, man, you get hurt.
The bumps you take hurt. There was one time I almost threw up by taking like 15 bumps.
Wow.
I was in there with Johnny Vegas when he was there, and they were trying to teach us like how to like take the pain a little bit when it comes to the bump, but also to get you better on getting up and taking the bump properly. He would be like, keep going, keep going, keep going. It hurts. But once you get used to it by doing it over and over again, your body's just used to it. But it's not good for the human body. But hey, if you're passionate about it, you go for it.
Right.
So,
do you have any like upcoming shows that you want to talk about? Like, you know,
yeah. So
like what the shows are about or whatever.
Yeah. So I do. Like I said, it's the podcast of randomness. B13 Nerdcast of randomness. It's about everything and anything. That's my motto. You can check it out on Facebook. Check me out on Instagram. Facebook exclusive only podcast, by the way.
Not on YouTube?
No, I did do it on YouTube for like 10 episodes, and it was just too much because there's so much like uploading, and I hate waiting. So Facebook exclusive, so you can just watch it right away. I do have actually I got 4 episodes getting ready for. So I have Bradley J, who's in the band Potsy.
Okay.
I have him coming on.
I think you talked about him before on this show.
Yep. So that episode will be dropping on Saturday.
Say Bradley J?
Bradley J.
Yeah.
Then I have my buddy Jason Campbell, who worked for Fright Kingdom. That episode will be up in 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then I'll be talking about my Mighty Morphin Power Ranger collection.
Yep.
And then I'll be doing another question and answers part 3. And then when it comes to the month of May, me and my sister are going to do a tribute to my brother. Talk about him. Yeah. So about my brother Jason. He passed back in on Mother's Day. So May 8th of 2022.
Yeah, so it hasn't even been a year yet.
No. Wow. And that's why we want to do it in May, because it would be like a year anniversary, and really want to just talk about the good stuff, not the bad stuff. So
I've dedicated this show to my older brother John, who had passed away 3 months before I did my first episode.
Yeah.
And then on episode 100, I rededicated it to him. Yeah. So I know how you're feeling, man. Yeah. And it's you know, it's hard. It's hard.
It still hurts, but you know what? I'm still going on with my life as best as I can. And
that's what he wants.
And that's what he wants.
That's what he wants. My brother wants me to do. That's the one thing that really bothers me, is he never got to see me do this show.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon, thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, we're out. Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.